What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be back to work on the 2023 Ford F-250. As you guys seen in the previous episode, we got a lot of work done on this truck. It turned out absolutely incredible. I mean, check that thing out. It looks like it's never been in an accident. Now, the next step is going to be to do a little bit of mods to this truck. As you can see, it does need a leveling kit. It's sitting really low in the front, and it's sitting pretty high in the back. And these stock rims and tires aren't the best. I mean, they're pretty bald. The rear ones are ripped up, which we do have a full package, which we'll be getting into that later. But let's go ahead and pull this thing onto the lift, get this sucker in the air, and then we'll check out all the mods we got for this truck. Now it's time to get to work on this truck, but before we do that, we got to check out some of the goodies that we got from Rough Country. Check this out. They really stepped up their game. They offer wheel and tire packages shipped directly to your door, already mounted and balanced, which is super awesome. It basically just cuts out the middleman of having to go to a tire shop. And as you guys know, sometimes that can be a nightmare. But man, these things look absolutely incredible. Check that out. Nice little MT tread. And we went with some 17s with some 35-inch tires, and I think that's just gonna look really good because there's a lot more rubber on these tires. I know a lot of people like to go with like 24s and some rubber bands, but we're not doing that on this truck. We also have some Fender Flares from Rough Country. These things came pre-painted, which is pretty insane. We'll get into that in a little bit. We're not gonna be installing those just yet, but I do wanna get into our lift kit. This is the Vertex lift kit coilover conversion for the F-250, and we're gonna go ahead and unbox this thing and get it installed on the truck. And man, I gotta say, this thing's gonna look incredible with new Fender Flares, a little bit of a lift. We're not going too high with the lift. We still want the truck to drive relatively like stock. You know, when you're towing stuff really far, you don't wanna have your steering wheel wobbling and your suspension all weird. So let's just go ahead and unbox all these goodies over here. Then we'll get to installing this lift kit. So check it out, we got the lift kit out of the box, and man, I am impressed with Rough Country. I mean, check this out. This is a full coilover conversion for the front of this truck. We also have some drop brackets. I mean, 3 inches is literally gonna be perfect. This thing's gonna drive just like stock, and I'm pretty sure these things are gonna be a little bit better than stock. So as you can see, we just have a janky coil spring right there, and then we're gonna convert it to a coilover. I mean, there's not that much stuff we gotta install. Basically, coilover brackets right here, a track bar adjustment tool right there, or a drop bracket right there, and this is the instruction manual. I wonder how long it says it takes to put this on. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of research. Should be pretty simple. I mean, there's not too much to this kit, not too complicated. Track bar, brackets, bam. Shouldn't take too long. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and remove these tires and get to work and get this coilover conversion installed on the truck. Man, check that out. We got the front lift kit all complete. We also went ahead and threw on the Rough Country Fender Flares, and I gotta say, they really stepped up their game. Painted Fender Flares straight from Rough Country. The paint matches up perfectly, and check out the seal kit on that. Everything lined up absolutely amazing. It basically just bolted on like factory. A couple of adapter plates, but man, I gotta say, this truck is looking absolutely incredible. We also were thinking about changing the front splitter, but I think what we're gonna do is just trim it up a little bit. Basically just grab a tape line right here and maybe just trim this off right here, make it a little bit smaller, or just go ahead and order the trimmer one, which is like this big, but I'm not sure yet. But let's go ahead and get this thing back inside and do the rear end. Straighten up. So we got the truck back inside, and basically this is all it's going to take for the rear lift. Basically just a little bit of blocks. I mean, 3 inches isn't too much, so you don't really have to do much modifications to the truck. That's kind of like what we wanted. We didn't want to do no trimming in the front. We wanted to have a nice factory look. So let's go ahead and install the rear lift kit. We're just going to do the same thing, basically just lift up the rear with the lift and get this all installed. So check it out, we just wrapped up the rear lift, and I gotta say, this truck looks absolutely incredible. We got all of the Fender Flares installed. We got the front lift kit installed, the rear lift kit installed, and man, do I gotta say, the color package just matches so good. The Rough Country Fender Flares are a total game changer. I mean, it would have just took so much time and energy just to go out there and paint them, but the fact that they come straight to your doorstep already painted. Same thing with the rims. I mean, you order them and they're ready to go straight out of the box, but man, look at that right there. I think we need a little bit of color matching up here in the front. I don't know yet, we'll see in a little bit, but yeah, check that out right there. Man, look at that. That looks cool. This is the first truck we had with coilovers on it, and I think everything's gonna be pretty good with it. We'll definitely have to just retorque it after we drive it a couple thousand miles. The lift kit wasn't too hard to install. It just took a couple of hours. There's a lot of different stuff you have to install, especially for the coilover conversion. You kind of got to cut the buckets off and then you bolt the brackets on, which I think anybody could do it if they wanted to. But now we're going to focus on something else. As you can see, the truck is a lot higher, and we're going to go ahead and pull it back inside because we do have some running boards from Rough Country that we're going to install. I got to say, Rough Country really did step up their game. I remember buying stuff a long time ago. They didn't really have too much stuff. Now they have pretty much everything you can want. I mean, the paint on these Fender Flares is just perfect match. There's not a single speck of dirt. Like I said, this is probably better than this paint, but you know, that's a bigger panel, a little bit harder to paint, but look at that right there. Bam. But we're gonna go ahead and pull this truck inside, get the power running steps installed, because right now it's pretty tall. You know, it's pretty hard to get up in here. You know, you kind of got to break your leg to get up in there. So let's get these running boards installed. Let's get this thing back inside the shop. So we got the truck inside, and I gotta say, this thing looks absolutely incredible. Now it's time to go ahead and install these e-boards from Rough Country. Now everything we did install on this truck, we'll go ahead and drop links down below if you want to build the same truck, which I gotta say, this truck is turning out freaking awesome. But basically, these are the Rough Country e-boards. Let's go ahead and open them up, see exactly what we got, and we'll just start installing it. I did watch a couple videos on it, and they're pretty easy to install. And pretty much with everything with Rough Country, they give you all the right instructions, and it's pretty simple. But let's go ahead and open these suckers up and get these e-boards installed on the truck. So we got everything out of the box, and it's pretty simple to do. All we gotta do is basically mount these motors, mount these boards, and run a little bit of wire, and we should have this thing sidestepping in no time. So let's just go ahead and install it on the truck. You have to be over there. So there it is, guys. We got all the Rough Country stuff installed on the truck, and I gotta say, everything lined up perfectly. The door steps are freaking cool. I like the way they installed. Basically, we just ran harnesses from the bottom all the way through the entire cab. One wire goes to the driver's side, one wire goes to the passenger side, and the steps work perfect, and these things are super durable. Look at that right there. And it's pretty cool how they actually made them work. Basically, there's just a little sensor right here. You put a little magnet on the door, and every time you close it, bam, it just goes right up. And it really wasn't too complicated. You didn't have to splice any wires or anything like that. But man, check that out. It just makes it look pretty cool because it kind of covers up that little spot right there. You know, it kind of looks like a little side skirt. But now what we're gonna do is actually bedline the rear bed, because as you guys know, this was a brand new bed and it did not have any bedliner inside it, which is okay. We're gonna go ahead and sand it all down and give it a nice little coat of bed liner. Shouldn't be too hard. Basically just hit everything with the 80 grit and make sure it sticks real good. Make sure we clean it real good. Probably just tape it up right here. Probably just bed line all this right here, honestly. I don't really know why that should be silver, but it won't be too hard. And then we also will have to bed line our tailgate and just remove those 2 bolts. And then this thing can all go back together and it will be 100% complete. Man, I gotta say, I am loving the way these flares look. Just the wheels and tire setup, everything is so nice. I just don't really like the big 20-inch rims anymore, you know? I used to like it. I had them on a truck of mine back in the day, and this looks a lot better. This thing's gonna be off-road oriented, ain't it? You gonna off-road it?
Yes, sir. We're gonna rock crawl.
I'm gonna rock crawl it, bounce it off the freaking rocks. But nah, dude, this thing just, I really do love the new look of the front end. It just looks so good. You got the little bullet antenna. I know you ain't gonna be listening to no music in there. I know this thing don't actually work, but I mean, who even uses the radio anymore? You got CarPlay, stuff like that. But man, look at that right there. You got the Vertex coilovers from Rough Country. And guys, if y'all are interested in any of this Rough Country stuff, I'll drop all the links down below. I mean, this is a pretty cool looking build so far. But anyways, now that all that's knocked out, the last thing to do is just get that bedliner done. So let's just get to sanding and get it sprayed in. Guys, the truck is all 100% complete. I gotta say, this build turned out absolutely amazing, and I had a super fun time building it. And I'm super happy that it wasn't really wrecked too hard. It really just needed a lot of labor with the frame swap and all, but it turned out awesome. I mean, check that out right there. The silver just pops so good with those rims and tires. We also went ahead and threw on the FX4 sticker here in the back. Man, I gotta say, that turned out amazing. Look at that. Bam, that's the last finishing touch. We also bedlined the entire bed. That all still has to dry up, but this truck is all done. But anyways, guys, if y'all enjoyed the Ford F-250 rebuild, definitely hit a like. Also follow us on Instagram at VTune. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next build.